I don't want to repeat a whole lot of things that are in the program because they're put there for you to read. There is an awful lot of things that Derrell Sims has done. He has spoken globally, been invited to many other countries, and you can find that out on his website, or he may mention a little of it here today. He has been dubbed, as you can see, the alien hunter. And of course, this is a subject of some interest to a number of people as to what's been going on with intelligence that we don't seem to know much about. The topic today that has been assigned, which he will use or not use at his option, whatever he thinks is the most important or the most appropriate for the time, is medical scientific evidence of human alien contact. I think we're going to have fun here, so if you will, welcome Derrell Sims to Global Sciences for the first time today.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Welcome. I'm Derrell Sims. At least I hope I am. I was a few hours ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little bit of fun here today. We got a remarkable slide presentation for you. Some of you, one or two of you may have seen my presentation. Most of my presentations have been out of country. I just got back from Istanbul, Turkey. San Marino, the government of San Marino flies me over so often to do medical and science presentations for their people. And I just got back from Oslo, Norway, and it was cold. But then I got here and there was snow. We don't get a lot of snow in Houston, so thank you, Colorado. This is great. I love the snow. It's good. I have a number of things I want to run by you real quick. I do have a workshop that's going to happen tonight as well. There are, I don't mind telling you, a number of people who have great workshops on at the same time I do. So look at my eyes very carefully. There are some wonderful presentations. If you're not in a workshop tonight, you need to get your head examined. There are some wonderful people doing some great stuff tonight. I'm serious. Wonderful stuff. Everything from the Digital Angel to IRS, one of the biggest criminal organizations in my view. I was audited twice last year. You owe us $37,000. I didn't make $37,000. Twice audited. They made a mistake the first time, said, you don't owe us anything. I said, I know that. Then they decided I did again. 6 months later, $2,900 later. Where are these wonderful people when I need them? Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. You got great workshops tonight. You really need to be in these workshops. And of course, the best one, of course, I'll tell you which one that is right now in case you don't know. Mine, of course. What I'm going to do in my workshop, I'm going to tell you very briefly, is show you if you think you've been contacted or have been touched, literally, by not an angel, but an alien, how to actually prove that. Do you know there's a very simple test for it? I discovered it in 1992. It's easy. There's physical evidence that you've had a contact if your event was real. I didn't say if you think it's real. If it is real, the event did happen, and you can check yourself within 24 hours, you probably have evidence that's testable in a lab. Neat, huh? Some people call me alien hunter. I hunt them that hunted me since 1952 and hunted my son and others in our family lineage for probably a few years back. And now they may be after your kids. Everything changes when it happens to you. It's not important until then. My mission, so to speak, for a lot of people who have had these experiences is to offer medical and scientific evidence that in fact your events are real. The reason I do that is simply because I believe there are people with events that are real. However, if you're going to make claims that an alien abducted you and did this and did that and everything, at some point, after thousands and thousands of abductions on people in this country and many others that I've investigated, you're going to have to come up with evidence. Your stories are not enough. It is incumbent upon you to have evidence. You cannot, I saw a bright light in the sky. That's not going to work anymore. You need evidence. This presentation is designed to give you, to at least show you that evidence exists. My workshop will give you the opportunity for you to go out by yourself and find your own evidence. You don't need me. I have a medical and scientific team, cardiovascular surgeon, who's up for admiral. That's just a surgeon, in case you have something implanted in you, kind of like a digital angel, but it isn't. We've got all kinds of interesting things there in the back in a little box. I have a large box, all kinds of evidence we've recovered from 12 different surgeries. Let me clear up a couple of points before we get started. Some of these objects, which I predicted in 1994 in front of 250 surgeons at an AMA-sponsored program on medical complications of alleged human alien contact. The specific topic, alien implants. And I got paid to do it. Talk about a bunch of pasty-faced looking doctors. I say, I have no interest in you doing anything. I don't want you to believe a word I'm saying. Please don't believe me. There are two ladies that will be here. I told them that they're going to give their testimony. When you see these people come in and say these stories, check the lesions. Prove me wrong. You'll find no signs of inflammatory response in any of these people, either chronic or acute, and you will find the wrong nerve cells present around these objects if in fact they are indeed alien. 3 doctors joined at that meeting. You never guess what they proved in the first 2 surgeries. No signs of inflammatory response, either chronic or acute. And the wrong nerve cells are present. How could you medically know what was impossible? Well, in 1960, when I was age 12, I was conscious in my event and got an implant. I know exactly how it was done. It was done like this. There is a device. It's about 10 inches long, 9 to 10 inches, very sharp, needle-like. And I'm going to just use this. This is kind of distasteful. If it bothers you, close your eyes. It had a little tiny ball on the end of it, 1960. I was conscious during the event. And it was inserted in my nose like this, up the nasal passage, and with a quick jerk like that, they pulled it back out. The little ball was missing. It broke the bones inside my nose, crushed that. I could feel the needle-like device go up behind my eye. It was very painful. I did not like that. Maybe you do. I don't. Not a happy camper. So, one of the things I'm going to do in the workshop is to show you a lot of things, what you can do, or if you find someone that claims they've had contact, what to do. You can literally, in just a few minutes, I'll show you how to do that with infrared and ultraviolet radiation. Well, it's impossible. Want to bet? I'll show you how, and I'll show you how it's done and why they do it. And because we just won't have time here. Usually it takes at least an hour and a half for me to do a presentation of this size. So we're going to get into the meat of it today. So and I'm not going to tease you. There's 2 parts to the presentation, the workshop. The first presentation has to do with the provable evidence of alien abduction, that it does exist. Number 2 is we're going to do handwriting analysis. How do I determine whether you're lying or telling me the truth? I think I was adopted by aliens. You want to fill my forms out? There's actually 15 pages of it, and part of it has to do with handwriting analysis. Handwriting analysis is your brain writing. I'm not a crook. Let's look at your handwriting and see. I'm perfectly honest. I'm intuitive. Shows up in your handwriting. Why I never brag? It's in your handwriting. Sexually dysfunctional, why? I am not. It's in your handwriting. I'm not a crook. Yes, you are, Richard. It's in your handwriting. Clinton, I did not sleep with that woman. It's in his handwriting 4 years before anything happened. I was teaching that 4 years before the event. It's not only in his handwriting is a very special, muddy form. It's sexual perversion. I'm not an anti-Clintonite. I'm just talking about handwriting. That's public knowledge. Your handwriting's public. As soon as you sign something, it's public. Anybody can look at it. And tonight you will get to see what I see. And I'll make it easy, simple, and you don't have to take 3 or 4 years of study to do it. We'll show you how to do some easy stuff. And it's a lot of fun. And everybody will get to do their own handwriting tonight. You will get to evaluate your own based on what I teach. And ask whatever questions you want. So it's going to be a fun workshop. Like I said, it's the best one. But if you don't attend mine and don't attend somebody else's, woe unto you. Do not claim ignorance on these subjects. Okay? So let's have a little fun. Golly, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. It's going to be a lot of fun. First of all, how many of you have ever seen a UFO? Whoa. We have special implants for you, $29.95. You can be abducted tonight. We have raspberry, strawberry. I'm just kidding. And for $79.95, we'll even let you remember the event. How many of you ever seen, and please be honest, an alien? In your opinion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Okay. Wow. Of you people who think you're abductees or feel like you may be, how many of you have allergic reactions to Novocaine, lidocaine, xylocaine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you know that that's medically impossible in this room? 0.002% of the population might have an allergic reaction to Novocaine, xylocaine, carbocaine, cocaine. You can't tell anybody that one. You go to jail for having that overdose. About 30,000 people should be present for that many hands to go up. The amazing thing is that they're all abductees, almost, not always. Almost all people that raise their hand are abductees. 45% of the people we work with are Native American, Indian, Irish, or Celtic. There is a connection. It is genetic. The scientific study was recently done concerning the Irish. Everybody thought I was nuts for years. Well, this Irish and American Indian connection is big. Oh, you're full of bull. That's outrageous. How dare you say something like that? Scientific study was just finished, said the Irish are a race apart from all of us. Of course, I am now Irish and American Indian. So how do you suppose I figured that out? Does it think I'm a genius? No, I'm just an abductee who looked at myself and started looking at other people. I wonder if this is true for them too. Wow. Neat stuff. First of all, whenever I answer a question, we're going to have a question and answer time, hopefully, tonight, if I get through this in time. I'm a former police officer. 95B40 military police, for those of you who have to know, and a couple of them did. I want to know everything about you. Everything? Ex-Central Intelligence Agency, 2 years, covert ops. And yes, I can prove it. I could go to jail doing it, but yes, I can. I will to an attorney who will be my attorney, but then you can tell everybody that, because I can do that because that's privileged information. Does that make sense to you? But I'm telling you up front that that's all true. Why would I tell that to a UFO group? Would you rather find it out 10 years later after I was working with you on your abductions? No. You need to know everything about people up front. People need to be honest with each other. That's all there is to it. So I've got a police hat, so when I work with people on the abduction scenarios and everything, I put my police hat on. Man, it don't care what your story is. It's just after the facts. Then I've got another hat I put on, my investigator hat, who's very interested in your whole story. Then I got another hat I put on that some people call it the therapy hat. I'm a hypnotic anesthesiologist by trade, master hypnotherapist. That means I trained and probably certified your hypnotherapist, or somebody like that, or trained him that did yours. I'm also trained specially in medical hypnotherapy as well. I do all kinds of neat, fun stuff, and getting information and determining whether people are lying or telling the truth is what I do. I promise you, I'll sit down in front of you in 5 minutes after you fill out that form. I will know exactly whether you're telling me the truth or lying, and I'll prove it to you. So fast, make your head spin. Why am I saying that? Because I don't want you to fill out my form if you're not. Don't waste your time or mine. Don't embarrass yourself. Am I interested in your case? Absolutely. If it's real. If I catch you lying to me, I'll put you on the internet. Well, your face says this person lied and here's what they lied about. Why am I being so tough? Because I want real cases. I want to prove this case, take this before the world and show them that you're telling the truth. Because these people are telling the truth. Some of them are confused about what happened. That's okay. That's not lying. I don't remember everything. That's okay. That's not lying. All kinds of interesting stats. 31% people have, abductees have, that we have studied, have rare drugs to protein allergies. 35% report surgical work and is provable. And many of these people have never had surgery in these places. Really interesting. 62% of women report a missing fetus or gynecological anomalies. 63% of men report unusual lump, surgical cut, or needle-like punctures or sharp pains in the testicles and a period of sexual dysfunction for 6 months to a year. They're not going to tell you that, ladies. They're going to tell me. All these stats indicate something weird is happening to a certain group of people who are claiming alien abduction. Well, they're all psychologically nuts. No, they're not. Out of 18 different psychopathologies, almost none of these people fit any of them. They're normal people who've had extraordinary experiences. They saw something, heard something that you did not. How many people are psychic here? Who will admit that? How many psychics you got? Okay, I'm going to tell a psychic joke. Get ready. Get ready. You want to hear it again? I do love to laugh. I have an overblown sense of humor. I just absolutely love people and I love to laugh. 3 things you have to remember about this presentation that are important. Just 3 things. You don't have to remember anything else. Except, first, there is a workshop, and you're going to be in it. Look at my eyes. You are unique. Get it. You are unique. The possible interconnections of 12 to 15 billion neurons inside your brain, the possible interconnections is 10 to the 800th power. That's 800 zeros past the 10. I think I'm losing my mind. That's not the problem. You got plenty in there left. Second point. You are unique. Am I getting through to anybody out there? Is this thing working? I'm just kidding. Good hypnotic subject. The Bible says something really interesting about that. It says you were created wonderfully. Do you realize that if they took your brain, not mine, yours, and took all its capabilities that we know today, made a computer of it, a computer that could actually do that and house it, it would be the size of the state of Texas. That is a fact. 50 stories tall. You have 150,000 miles of neural network in your body. You probably only use a few hundred feet in your entire lifetime. You think you were like created to last for a long time? You were. Third point. All you psychics in there, anybody want to tell me what it is? Or anybody else? Anybody want to guess what my third point is? Thank you. All right, that's it. Get up here and do this. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And somebody has come a long, long way from a galaxy, far, far away, to find your uniqueness and, in my opinion, exploit it. That's just an opinion from the Smithsonian Institute of Higher Understanding. That and 50 cents get you a bad cup of coffee. It's just an opinion, that's all it is. everybody says, you're the alien implant guy. You discovered all that. Yeah. But the fact is that, you're going to let me know when 25, 15, and 5. Thank you, sir. Okay. The whole business is implants, the alien implant. Implants are serious stuff. The digital angel, that is an implant. And they put it in your card, they got all kinds of neat stuff. They got stuff you people don't know about. Trust me, they do. You need to fight this in every sense of the word. The fact is, so, well, aliens, implants, important deal. Actually, it kind of isn't. And it is in a sense and it isn't in a sense, because everybody has not been planned. Everybody's becoming an expert on alien implants. I discovered it in 1960 and everybody's an expert. You know, I've never ever told anybody what an implant was, what an alien implant was. Never ever told anybody, ever. Not one person. And I have more people telling me what it is, and I know for a fact that it isn't. That's weird. Everybody tells me that. I know for one thing, they're not psychic. Because I didn't tell them. And it's the wrong answer. That's the biggest one. The second thing is, implants are serious business, but the alien knows where you're at anyway. He knows where your lineage is at. He knows who your grandkids are and your great-granddad, and they've been falling at for a long time. And they will. That's what they do. Why? I'm not really sure. I don't have all the answers. But I will be able to answer a lot of these in the workshop. I'll answer a few here if we get done in time, and I hope we do, because I love question and answer. I love dialogue with people. Okay, last thing. Kind of a couple of interesting things here I'm going to throw out real quick, and then we're going to start this presentation. The DSP satellite system. I have a friend who's a DSP satellite specialist, just retired, told me the whole story. They can spot mad cow disease from space. I was on Art Bell's show, and I asked him, we're doing this as former intelligence agents asking each other questions. I said, how effective is DSP satellite? Oh, I said, do anything. I said, did you know where Terry Waite was whenever Hamas had him over in Beirut and all the stuff they were doing? He said, we knew exactly the room he was in, even when they put women's clothes on him and marched him out. He said, we had his heat signature. I said, what do you know about mad cow disease? Can it be spotted from space? He said, absolutely. I said, you knew all along. You knew all along. He said, that's right. We did. Okay. Alien abductions are all wonderful. No, they're not. There are actually some of them that are so horrific that I have one case. One implanted lady, her brother spontaneously combusted in the city of Los Angeles. That's a matter of record. 2 dead children as a result of abductions, Dallas, Texas. These are cases of mine. Human mutilations in Brazil. Those, generally speaking, are fairly rare, but they do happen. When I was on the X-Files, they had me up there for the movie, and they said, we want to use you for the movie because if there's a real Mulder, you're it. And I said, I can't tell truth on X-Files. You guys are full of bull. No, come on up. So I did. I told the truth and scared these guys so bad. They said, there really is an X-Files stuff. I said, Chris Carter knows you stole half the stuff you got on the show off my website. Implants? Where do you think he got it? Fluorescence, which you're going to see tonight with the handwriting analysis in the thing. And I said, the mass abduction, December 8th, 1992. Where do you think he got all that? These are all my cases. So I said, no, I wouldn't be interested in helping you with your stuff at all. But anyway, they paid me $500 for the interview and didn't use it. I can't imagine why. Okay, we're going to have some fun here. We're going to go real fast through this, and then please reserve your questions, because we're going to try to get through this. There's a lot of stuff. Can we turn the lights off up there, please, and turn that light on that unit right there? Okay. I'm a hypnotic anesthesiologist by trade. I'm going to kind of get out of your way here if I can so everybody can see. I hate to interrupt people. I'm a hypnotic anesthesiologist by trade. This is an abductee. She's going through full hypnotic anesthesia while the surgeon is saying, oh my God, shit's got to be killing her. And we pulled a very amazing device out of her. It was biological. Very interesting. I do a lot of therapeutic work. This lady has a severe phobia of snakes. This is 12 minutes later. Her psychologist said it would take 2 years to get rid of this. Wrong. This is a presentation I did at John Muir Medical Hospital for 250 surgeons on alien implants. That's right. My wife made this slide for me. She calls me Indiana Derrell because we own some a Bengal tiger and a mountain lion and some snakes and other things, fun stuff. And she said, you're traveling all over the world doing all this weird stuff, and this is neat. so I'm going to make this slide for you. So anyway, if you laugh at it, you're laughing at my wife. She did this to me. Implants is the big story. Everybody wants to know what that business is all about. Are they real? First of all, this little device here is the DSP satellite. The one I told you about, it can see mad cow disease. It can do all kinds. That's the one that can read your watch way up there. 22,000 miles. Unbelievable. Fantastic. Is there physical evidence? Yes, there's evidence, crop circles, and so on. Are all crop circles real? Yes, they're all real. Are they alien? No. Many of them are fake. I'm not talking about Doug and Dave. I'm talking about they're microwaved. You can microwave them from an airplane. Are you with me? I've got my intelligence hat on now. I hope you got yours on. Do not be fooled by everything you see. It's fun. It's neat. Are there alleged alien ones that are real? In my opinion, yes. But many of them are, in fact, fake. Why would the intelligence community do that? Because then they know which ones are and you don't. See? And then you'll believe they're all fake. My work is in the Haikui Museum in Haikui, Japan, a $52 million complex and interactive video. This is Dr. Jozinski and his wife in Slovakia, where my work is also there in that museum. And the awards they gave us there, these are some of the medals they gave us, and that's just PR. Just PR. These are some fake UFOs. My brother did that when he was 10 years old. Fooled the biggest UFO people in the country. 10 years old, he fooled them. I said, Mike, that's Battlestar Galactica hanging on two threads from your fishing pole. He laughed and said, fooled everybody else so. There are fakes out there. This isn't a fake. Oh, no, that's Billy Myers. That's all real stuff. Want to bet? There's Gulf Breeze. Well, that's all real too. I'm not really sure about that. The jury's still out on that for me. This is an interesting aircraft that you could have easily mistaken for a UFO years ago, and it isn't. Now, there's an incredible story behind that. This is a real UFO. The great and famous Philip Klass tried to debunk this, only to be debunked himself. This is a real, valid, and provable UFO in the air. Provable. Absolutely proven. Here it is up closer. There it is, looking at it with this one with a heat signature. Well, there are all kinds of things we do when we look at UFO pictures. We look for heat signatures, electromagnetic radiation, all kinds of fun stuff that you want to look at for UFOs if they're really real. Okay? Kind of hard to put that electromagnetic effect on a fake picture. You know, with that negative. That's real hard to do. But it can't, there are things that can be done. Watch this. This is really neat. You'll like this. The UFO, the middle part section comes out and flies off. Is that weird or what? It's like a spare hubcap. Just fell off there. Went and picked up somebody else. Okay, this is a UFO that two of them, I don't know whether it's valid or not. I don't know. I do know it's quite old. These were taken in 1952 by a police officer. I'm still working on it to see if it's valid. Why is it interesting to me? Because my abduction started in 1952 at age 4. Oh, the military doesn't know all this stuff. Oh, yes, they do. In fact, that's a UFO following the aircraft right there, and another aircraft photographed it. There it is right there. Absolutely, it's real. Here's another one off the wingtip. These are all military photos, folks. NASA doesn't know anything about it. You want to bet? And there it is right there, right outside the window. Yes, they do know. I've seen file footage. I know what I'm talking about. This is taken by a Russian probe that disappeared. There's the UFO, 13.5 miles long. This is Phobos, the moon of Mars, one of the moons of Mars, discovered in 1877 by ASAP Hall. 13.5 miles long. This thing then turns toward the Russian probe, fires upon it, and disables it in space. It sends it in space spinning. That's called a spinner. This is the last photograph taken by that Russian probe. NASA does know, yet believe me, trust me. Farouk El-Baez says there are structures on the moon that are huge, much larger than the Empire State Building. Yes, there are. Yes, they do. This guy works at NASA, by the way. These are their own people. I can't believe that guy's still employed. Oh, Roswell was a fake thing. We were dropping little dummies in. These were Japanese little dummies. Want to bet? That's the actual dummies they dropped. I'm in the Alamogordo, my hometown, Alamogordo Space Museum. That is the dummy, 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, promise you. It's the weight of an American pilot during that time. Wrong. There's no such. Roswell did happen. Something happened there. Why do they keep changing the story? Because they're lying, of course. There he is again. I'm having waving at you so you can see that he's all happy now. Are there any real pictures of aliens? Yeah, in my workshop I'll show you some. But this is as close as you're going to get on this slide because I can't do all this. This is what you're going to look at as a drawing. Remember this drawing. And here you'll see his head taken by a surgical nurse in Dallas, Texas. There's a large eye. He looks a little bit different. Here's his arm going up, the little thin bicep, and there's his little hand. You'll be able to see, I have the 8x10 colors. You can see that in the workshop. I'll show it to you, and I'll show you why I think it's valid. This is an outline of some holographically embedded hands in a glass where the alien came through the glass. This case involves a police officer in Houston, Texas. Fabulous piece of evidence. Some people think it's the best piece of evidence, period, bar none. I don't know. Yeah, that's up to an individual to decide. It takes $12,000 to pull out a three-dimensional holographic image of, they say there's a holographic image they can pull out three-dimensional of that glass for a low, low price of $12,000. I am asking for donations today. $12,500. You believe? 25. Thank you. Here we go. And then there's the Wyoming mummy. This is a real thing. This really happened. This thing is 16 inches tall. And the gold miners blew apart a mountain and looking for gold, and they found a little alcove carved out inside there, inside the solid stone. And they found this little guy 16 inches tall sitting up on the alcove. Well, scientists looked at it and said, well, I'll tell you what this is. I'll tell you what this is. That's a Native American Indian boy. Want to bet? Look at your National Geographic. Every one of them looks like Native American Indian boys that are mummified with feathers. I don't think that's a Native American boy I know. They later changed the story and said, well, that's a 65-year-old man, 16 inches tall? Yeah, and he's got deformities, and so that's the way it is. Well, okay, whatever. Dr. Shapiro in New York still has the x-rays on this. Neat stuff to study. I do have some videos, wonderful sets of videos. For those of you that are into the conspiracy stuff, I have one on, and these are all professionally done. They're not home videos. That's $5,000 to put these things together on the intelligence community. Me exposing my own bunch and the conspiracy with the alien and the intelligence community. Very expensive video, $12. The second one I have is going to be a very good one as well. It has to do with hypnosis. What really is real and what isn't? Wouldn't you really like to know that? How would you know the person's really hypnotized if they really are having an alien abduction or not? Can people claim alien abduction, be hypnotized, and be absolutely wrong? Yes. Do you have techniques that can show you how that is provable one way? Yes, of course. Of course. There's the lineup. The usual suspects, as I call them. Well, no, these guys are evil, these guys are good, these guys are semi-good, these are really ugly, these are really nice because they're nice, blonde, Nordic-like guys, and this guy, we don't like him. They're all on board the same craft at the same time with 8 witnesses, some of them conscious. Whoa, that's pretty weird. There he is. Wanted. My senior investigator made this after his abduction. Wanted for kidnapping, abduction, sexual assault, child snapping, mental cruelty, brainwashing. If you have any information, contact Derrell Sims. As you can imagine, his experience was not enlightening and earth-shaking, especially after they put that implant between his eyes. I've got the video of him screaming. It was so loud and so scary that people literally ran out of the room, ran out of a meeting like this. I will not show that to anybody now. They literally ran out of the room to get away from this. Well, it was all wonderful. You want to bet? That's a screensaver memory. That's installed by them to make you think something else happened that didn't. Sorry. I've been doing this for 35 years. You think I've learned something by now? I think I did. They'll often disguise themselves. Here, this is Dennis the Menace. That's the right word. In her case, anyway. This is the guy that picked me up. I did a sculpture of my guy. And unfortunately, I didn't have big enough eyes here, but they were perfectly round, not the elliptical eyes. When I heard people say that, I thought they were making it up. Mine was pure white, huge eyes, 1952. There were no alien movies out there then, sorry. I didn't watch alien movies and get scared as a 4-year-old. No, didn't do it. That's the guy. And he continued on for 13 years. My abductions ended in 1965 quite violently. And then there's these other things they call hybrids and MIBs and weird stuff. Very odd stuff. It's that young, even children draw, and they're consistent all over the world, people. If they're all hallucinating and making it up, they're all doing it at the same time. And some of them have done it 50 years back. Amazing stuff. Very amazing, amazing stuff. Well, UFOs have only been seen recently and all that is a bunch of bunk. You want to bet? Here are UFOs over Nuremberg, Germany, 1561, April 14th. That's not the only case. I can show you in virtually any country of the world, in their own history books, UFOs. This is a child, these are two mummies that never made it to Cairo out of King Tut's tomb. This is a child, these were stolen. What do you think that one is? Well, that's kind of older than Roswell, isn't it? It probably is. Anybody know anything about the Varginha incident where a UFO was shot down in Varginha, Brazil, January 20th, 1996. Alien had 3 bumps on his head, 3 real big bumps. This is a mass used in northern Africa. 5,000 years prior to that event to meet what? The beings that would come down from the sky. This would protect him, I guess. Has the same 3 bumps on his head that it did. Really amazing stuff. Some people think this is a trap. This is a little mouse trap here with a string on it. Come on in. They're here to help us and save us. Not all people believe that. Other people believe, oh my God, they're here to eat us or something like that. I don't think that's it either. I think both those views are completely wrong. I think there's something else going on. Isn't that cute? So, what else have you found? Well, in my workshop, I'll show you how to find fluorescence on your body. Eve Lorgan, who's one of the presenters here, did some of the fluorescence work for us and helped us with some of the science on it. Fluorescence that shows up on your body as a result of alien contact and what those mean. Fluorescence has all kinds of interesting meanings. I have a number of doctors who work with me, ophthalmologists and others, who are very excited about the fluorescence find. Amazing stuff. You can find it with a black light if you know what you're looking for. All kinds of, they have DNA tagging that they do right now. You can take, this is a carcinoma. My wife's father died of a carcinoma. You can fluoresce diseases and check the growth of them. And there are all kinds of neat reasons why you might want to have fluorescence. There are also some pretty ragged reasons why you might want fluorescence. This is a sperm from a bull. They tagged 3 different aspects of it. Pretty neat, huh? Wow. Would that be pretty neat if it were involved in a cattle mutilation? Sure would. Might tell you a lot of interesting things. Fluorescence shows up on mutilated cattle. Why would aliens want to fluoresce cattle that are going to, before they're mutilated, they fluoresce them? Because the aliens already physically touched them. That's why. This is, my ophthalmologist put this together for me. This is fluorescent, how they fluoresce the eye. And for some of the tests they do. She says it can be done in a lot less time than that you need for an abduction, in case you want to know. I said, thank you for that, lady. We're also studying other aspects of the eye and what it is that maybe is going on. We're looking for also other anomalies. A Mongolian blue spot here on the back, you see this with children and different things. These are pretty unusual things. And we're seeing if there's a correlation. Here, a whole family got abducted, not these guys, but their dog here got abducted and had all these different dogs too. Every one of them were different when they came back, and the lady came back pregnant, by the way. Now, how do you know all that's true? Well, we've got some real interesting genetic stuff that we're doing right now. We've got some genetic people interested in some of our work because it's provable. And so they're willing to volunteer their help too. It was really interesting, all the different dogs that came out of that one after that. The dog got abducted too, by the way, with the husband, wife, and the kids. Really interesting. Abductions usually start at age 3. Aliens make mistakes, they drop things, they make clumsy errors. If you are coherent and will listen and watch what's going on, you can find evidence often beside your bed. Interesting, huh? They will leave with you a memory that they were all warm fuzzies and it was all great and you were in the school of higher understanding and received all kinds of wonderful revelations. However, when you look, when he gets that large black eye right next to your face and gives you a fake memory of that, here's what you might have seen if the event were real. It isn't exactly what you think. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I'm just interested in the truth. I don't care what it is. I don't care. Whatever it is, that's what it is. If it's good, it's that, and if it's not, that's okay too. I just want to know what it is that's going on and why. I'd like to know that. Okay, this is unfortunately we're not going to get that shot there. This is a before and after shot. That's not going to show up with her. This is the after shot. This is the lady that lost her 2 children as a result of abduction. Several abductions later, in the before shot, which unfortunately is not showing up here, you can't recognize this lady from the other picture. This is immediately after the abduction. She went to the emergency room. You can still see the pressure points on the side of her head, here and here, where they put a device on her head for whatever it was they did to her, and I don't know what that device was. Have no idea. There's a Native American Indian aspect to this. This is my great-great-great-grandmother. Yes, she's actually an honest-to-goodness 100% Cherokee. Yes. And there's ancient great-great-great-great-grandfather, means the devil, and he is 100% Irish. Wow. Neat, huh? When you look at your photographs outside, if you think you've ever had an alien abduction, you've taken photographs, look up in your pictures. This professional photographer who gets money for this found UFOs in her pictures outside. Felt like she was being watched. Maybe you better look at your pictures under a magnifying glass. There are people who are building landing zones for UFOs to land because they think they can't find us. This is the USA at night. Does anybody need their head examined? 15, thank you. Then they know where we're at. Here's why they're really here. I finally figured out the message. I finally got it together. I finally have the answers. Well, what's the best stuff? What's the good stuff? Marks, physical evidence of people that have gone through their abductions. These are from Brazil. This is from Texas. This mark and this mark are identical. 2 different people 4 years apart, done by the same device during their abductions. Some of the ones in Brazil are a little more ragged. They get a little uglier. This is my daughter-in-law. They literally branded her. You say, well, that's a tattoo. Want to bet? That's after they did the removal for the tattoo. It won't come off. It's not a tattoo. In this case here, these people are in Brazil. The man was found right here. The next morning, this is the case I told X-Files about, and they freaked at this point. The abductee, he lives in this little house. They live by candles there. They have no electricity. His eyes were surgically removed after his abduction. Recently, he finally went to the insane asylum. He could not deal with his events. Well, it was positive. He just didn't remember it right. Want to bet? There's the guy. That's him. Okay, what can you do? Take things in your own hands. Is that good or what? You like that? I think that's neat. Okay, take things in your own hands. One lady asked me, please help me, help us. So I gave her a post-hypnotic suggestion next time her captors come in to defend herself. She tore his eye cup off. What did she find? Want to know? Red little white lines running back and forth inside the eye cup. Weird. Really weird stuff. This was later provable. This is some of the surgeries we've done. This lady, and this is some of the evidence we've removed here, okay? And let's look at some of the evidence real quick. We're going to have to go through this pretty quick. Now I'm going to get to the meat of this. Here's how scoop marks are made. I got one on my own leg. I can show it to you, and it will at the workshop. And I'll tell you how they're made, how you can detect it, how you can prove that medically. There's some really interesting anomalies about this. Okay, we're looking for x-rays. This is the objects that came out of the nasal implant, nasal area. This is one right here. This is the lady's chest, her back. She's in the military, and she reports alien abduction to her doctor. There's the object. It's very large next to the lung. He says it is surgically installed, in his opinion. These are 2 of 4 objects found surgically removed from a guy's knee. Doctor says they were surgically installed. There is no sign of scarring, but there is a report of abduction. Here's an object inside this guy's hand, case we're working on right now. 8 little balls found in a little girl's nose. How did mommy find them? She found them because she came to my workshop and I showed her how to do it. When her daughter told her little odd stories about the little funny little men with the black eyes and the bald heads scaring her and everything, checked her nasal passage and had her sneeze into Kleenex and found 4 of them twice. And then she sent them to me. We are studying them. I've already studied them. The first preliminary study is already done. This is the case we had the first surgery on with this lady here. 3 objects. The material, long story short, I'll give you the bottom line. What's the material? Surgically installed, her doctor admits that. Rare meteoric materials from the Widmanstatten structure meteorite. How'd that get in somebody? In a biological cocoon that has no inflammatory response, either chronic or acute. It's impossible. Here's an ocular implant. We found out of a lady's eye in a mass abduction. The lady had tore the eye cup off. This is what they found out of in her eye before. It fell out of her eye at work. The next day, it has an opening here. We think it actually may have housed a biological camera. Somebody was watching somebody. This is a fake implant, mistaken, out of Norway. It's nothing. Piece of iron is all it is. Some genetic engineers found a very strange object attached to a lady's amniotic fluid. We found out what that was. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. Well, implants aren't inside the body. They're detectable. You want to bet? It looks like they were eating a lifesaver and dropped it in the guy's skull. That's it, folks. It's huge. Radio opaque, it's there. And then within a year, it's missing. Kind of interesting, huh? There it is again. Really strange stuff. Strange looking triangular configuration on this guy's leg. I call it the AOL, or looks like the AOL symbol, but it's got a ball right in the front of it. I don't know what the thing is. Very strange stuff. This one here claims to be a MyLab experiment. He's claimed that he was abducted and they put an implant in his jaw, the military or the intelligence community did. We removed the object and found it nothing to be but a piece of little lead. That doesn't mean his experiences are not real. It just means the object inside his jaw is just a piece of lead. Some people report these alien babies and this sort of thing. They say that's what it is, and they report these nurseries of these strange looking, odd, genetically engineered, strange biological creatures. And this to me, and this will just about close it, and then we'll have question and answer time. This is one of the most interesting things I've ever seen, and one of the most, this is why I got some of our genetic people interested. I took these sonograms over to England to one of the largest and finest fetal hospitals in England. They looked at the x-rays and they said, well, these sonograms said these are not natural. And I said, what's wrong? And I didn't say anything about anything. I said, what do you find, what's wrong? She said, well, they're not looking at the tissue the way it should to check the child's aorta, all these other things you would look at to see if the fetus is viable. I said, what do they seem to be looking at? She says, they seem to be looking at the entire anatomy. She says, I said, do you see anything about the anatomy that's interesting? She says, yes, that's the strangest looking head I've ever seen. I said, what do you think? There's the head, you see. Large bulbous head with a little pointed chin. 9. Interesting story. How many? 9. Okay. Interesting story behind this. Is the only reason I even show this, and even will question it, is maybe as evidence, is the lady's story is consistent with the sonograms. Fascinating case. Okay, let me check one quick here. Okay, here's the good news. Two extra slides. Good news. Isn't that great? Look at that little guy. For those of you abductees who've had bad experiences or had tough times and everything, there's help. That's what we're here for. Number 2 is it's okay. In 99.99% of cases, they bring you back. You're a little worse for wear, but that's about all. And the best news is, and I mean this in the kindest, sweetest way I can, when you grow up, you'll get past that stuff. And you'll find out what's going on and take responsibility for your life and decide you're going to figure this thing out and get it done. And you should. And you should. Lights, please. So I would like to answer whatever questions you have. I can answer almost all of them, but not one or two. I hope those are not asked. You turn that off. And anyway, if you have questions, do they have a microphone or anything they need? Okay, go to the microphone in the back, and I will repeat your question, assuming I can hear it. So if you have questions, it's fine. You can ask anything you want. You're still in the CIA? No. I took the CIA to Congress in a congressional case. I was exiled out of the continental United States for a year to ASCOM, Korea. Chairman Mendel Rivers' House Armed Services Committee handled the case personally. I'm not friends with the CIA anymore. You don't take them to Congress and end up buddies. They don't talk to me, they just audit me. Yes, ma'am.
Before my first question, I need to say my husband was an abductee,
yes,
trained by the military to be a remote viewer. He's been missing, and I'm a minister. I will not get a body to bury, and I will get no notification.
Bless your heart.
Any statistics on how many people with EL in their name happen to be abductees?
How many people might be abductees?
With EL in their name.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know how many would be EL, but I do know this. The Roper poll says at least 4 million people have had experiences in the United States. These are psychologists and psychiatrists who signed those reports. They said, we're reporting that many privately. That's people who admit it to the psychologists or psychiatrists. That's not counting me. People like me never saw any of these people. There are lots of people that have been in the abduction experience. It's very real. Thank you, ma'am. On my abduction forms, after you fill them out and I verify the fact that I think that your experience is real or not, if it isn't, it goes in the trash or you can have it back. Your name comes off the report and the data goes into a database. So I don't keep names available on the internet for people to hack and look for. You're wasting your time. Okay.
Would you please explain more about that Mongolian blue spot, what it indicates?
Sure. The Mongolian blue spot is actually it's an unusual anomaly, but it's fairly rare. It happens to babies. Sometimes they're real big. Sometimes they're big. They look like big birthmarks on a baby's butt or on their back. That was a better illustration one. I kind of like that. It was kind of more interesting. But they're just considered by many doctors as just nothing more than an unusual birthmark. It's very rare to see, and but any kind of any anomaly we see with an abductee, we want to know about it. See if it's collatable. To see if it's available. Click on Mongolian blue spot on the internet, and you'll get 10 sites. It'll take I promise you, everything you want to know about them. Everything, and the pictures will all be there, including that one. Yes, ma'am.
Why Irish and Indian?
American Indian Irish, wonderful question. How I found that out is I'm a Native American Indian Irish, so I'm an abductee, so I would ask myself questions. I have, Novocaine doesn't work on me. My dentist laughed his head off and said, oh yes it does, and he kept shooting me and shooting me and shooting me until he realized, well, we can't do any more of this. And he hit me with that drill and I almost hit him. It just doesn't work on me. With other people it's an allergic reaction to it, so some of this we don't know just by my own experience. It's Native American Indian, Irish, and Celtic.
So they're the ones that are abducted?
No. 45% of the people we work with have that distinguished position.
Okay.
There are all kinds of people get abducted. Chinese, American Indians, white folks, black folks, brown folks, everybody. But it's not accidental. They didn't get you by accident. There is a reason you're being tagged. They don't get everybody. They don't want everybody. And they really don't want you if you're in a lot of trouble. But they will keep doing it as long as they can. Yes, ma'am?
Well, I've been wondering why people haven't told the truth about the mutilation of the cattle in Colorado.
Well, that's a good question. I questioned some people I was on vacation, and I went to a place where they're having a lot of cattle mutilations, and I walked into this little restaurant and little place and everything, said, y'all have any mutilated cattle around here? You know, just to see what they're doing.
Well, anyway,
No, we don't have any. Well, I don't know.
Anyway, one of our patients, Mr. Zion, had his cattle mutilated many times, so he went out with a double-barrel shotgun and he sat in a ditch all night, and here comes a helicopter from the military and took his cow up.
Okay. I'm going to answer that two ways. Does anybody know Ted Oliphant? He's the guy who started cattle mutilation stuff. He's a police officer like myself. We're very good friends. Every time I go to San Francisco, we meet, and he asked me about cattle mutilations, which I said, you're the expert. Why would you waste time with me? He said, I want to know what you know. I said, this is an alien thing. He said, but why are the helicopters there? I said, because they're showing up afterward. Well, how do they know where aliens have picked up a UFO, a cow that's going to be mutilated? I said, because they can spot it with a DSP satellite. They can see the fluorescence on the individual cow from 22,000 miles up.
Anyway, this was military. It was.
I understand that. They're showing up afterward getting the cow.
Anyway, the mutilation stopped after he did that.
Well, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did that.
Then I got another problem. My uncle was killed by a so-called flying saucer. My uncle found 30 UFO USAs sitting in Oregon, and he knew he had to get out of there. He was working for the government as an electrician. So he came back to Nebraska. He got in the car, and he was out picking cucumbers and came back and got in the car, and a white light hit him. And he was dead. We couldn't get the blood out of him.
Okay.
Now, that's our own.
I understand, but we have to have questions only. You can't have a story. It has to be a question. The answer is, do UFOs, the question is, do UFOs assault or attack people? Get the book by Bob Pratt, UFO Danger Zone. About 7 years of research. Jacques Vallée says some of the finest field research he's ever seen Unbelievable stuff. Beams coming out and hitting people, knocking them down, injuring them. Some died as a result of those events. Get the book. It's worth it. It's incredible. It'll really surprise you. Yes, sir.
Has our own government duplicated, replicated the technology that they have, and are they doing this on research of their own, in their own craft, on people,
Okay.
On our own people?
Okay, I think it's a valid question. The answer to that I don't have, and I'll tell you. I only do research on things I can prove. Okay, it doesn't mean it's not true. The other stuff, it means I can't prove it yet, and I can't go 40,000 directions. I have to stay here. Do you honestly believe, I'm in the ex-CIA, do you honestly believe when you go to Area 51 and drive up out there with a busload of people with high-powered cameras, the United States government's going to let you film that if that is exactly the highest tech alien stuff in the whole world? You are out of your mind if you believe that to be true. Is there weird, neat, great stuff going on out there? Yes. Why did they do it? Because it's a sideshow for you. Why? Because you're looking in the wrong place. Where is it? Anybody ever heard of Pine Gap, Australia? Pine Gap, Australia. If you go there, why have we got to see a heavy base like that? Why do we have that stuff there? Because if you go there and you even drive up with a bus, you go to prison. That's Australian law. If you go to Alamogordo, New Mexico, drive 12 miles out, little past Holloman Air Force Base, pull out your camera. It says White Sands Missile Range. There ain't nothing out there. Pull your camera out and start taking pictures. You're going to jail. But there aren't any UFOs. You're going to jail. It says, don't take any pictures. Area 51, you can take all of them you want. Well, yes, there are some weird stuff going on at Area 51. Yes. But the show is for you. You're looking in the wrong place. My time is up. Okay, now everybody, last thing, raise your right hand. I swear, go to my workshop. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you much, Darrell.